Tonight's headlines: Philippine orders mandatory evacuation of Pinoys in Ukraine. Kyiv rejects Moscow proposed corridors to Belarus. Duterte OKs raising age of sexual consent. DOH shifts to weekly COVID-19 bulletin. BBM-Sara wants enforcement of BFP modernization law. Celtics survive Nets. And big-time oil price hike set. Good evening. Good evening. Today is March 7, 2022. I'm Miguel Patagon and this is Tribune News on Q. Here are the stories for this evening.
Message from President Vladimir Putin broadcast.
We have Russian forces coming in from the south landing to
A potentially devastating war in Ukraine is just started.
The Philippine government on Monday ordered the mandatory evacuation of all Filipinos in Ukraine amid worsening conflict between the Eastern European state and Russia. The Department of Foreign Affairs said that due to the rapidly deteriorating security situation in Ukraine, it has raised the crisis level for all areas in Ukraine to alert level 4 or the mandatory repatriation. Under Crisis Alert Level 4, the Philippines undertakes mandatory evacuation procedures at government expense, and the DFA noted that Pinoys in Ukraine will be assisted by the Philippine Embassy in Poland and the Rapid Response Team, which are currently assisting Filipino nationals for repatriation and relocation. The DFA said it continues to closely monitor the political and security developments in Ukraine after Russia invaded the former Soviet state. Manila has been evacuating them in batches since last week, and according to the agency, 141 Filipinos are still in Ukraine. Ukraine on Monday rejected Moscow's offer of humanitarian corridors to Russia and Belarus. Deputy Prime Minister Irina Renchuk said, noting that it is not the acceptable option. This comes after Russia proposed the passage for civilians from Kharkiv, Kyiv, Mariupol, and Sumy. She added that civilians aren't going to go to Belarus and take a plane to Russia. Moscow said the decision was taken after a personal request by French President Emmanuel Macron to Russia's Vladimir Putin. The pair spoke on Sunday in their fourth conversation since Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24th. President Rodrigo Duterte has signed into law the bill defining the crime of statutory rape and raising the age of sexual consent from 12 to 16 years old. The Senate and House of Representatives ratified in December the Bicameral Conference Committee report on the proposed act increasing the age for determining statutory rape and other acts of sexual abuse and exploitation to protect children. The newly signed Republic Act 116488 seeks to amend the RA 3815 or the Revised Penal Code RA 8353 of the Anti-Rape Law of 1997, the RA 7610 or the Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act. Under the RA 11648, there will be no criminal liability on the part of the person having carnal knowledge of another person under 16 when the age difference between the parties is not more than 3 years and the sexual act in question is proven to be consensual, non-abusive, and not exploitive. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
latest entertainment at sa mga paborito nyong celebrities kasama si Pocholo Concepcion sa programang WhatsApp. Makibanding at kwentuhan kasama ang mga kilalang personalidad sa entertainment industry. Sama-sama natin silang kilalanin at silipin ang makulay nilang mundo every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Kaya sit back and relax lang kayo mga katribu. Hanapin at ilike ang Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube. Dahil sagot na namin ang masayang kwentuhan dito lang sa WhatsApp. Mga impormasyong direktang makukuha mula sa sources at diretsahang usapan. Yan ang ating daming sa inyo sa programang Straight Talk. Samahan nyo kami sa makabuluhang talakayan live tuwing Martes alas 10 ng umaga sa official Facebook page ng Daily Tribune at Tribune Now on YouTube.
In other news, the Philippines recorded a total of 6,297 new COVID-19 cases from March 1 to 7, 2022, as the Department of Health shifted to a weekly bulletin. The DOH said that the daily average of cases is at 899, which is lower by 30% than the cases reported from February 22 to 28. The DOH also reported 1,055 severe and critical cases and an intensive care unit utilization rate of 25.7%, or 807 out of the 3,138 ICU beds. Both are cumulative totals based on admissions as of March 6. This is the first weekly COVID-19 case bulletin issued by the department since it is announced last Tuesday that they would permanently shift from issuing it daily to a weekly basis, focusing on active severe and critical infections and the intensive care unit utilization. The tandem of presidential aspirant Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. and Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte on Monday underscored the immediate need to implement the law that modernizes the Bureau of Fire Protection. The tandem said the BFP should recruit more firefighters and provide them with specialized training. Marcos and Duterte said implementing Republic Act 11589, or an act strengthening and modernizing the Bureau of Fire Protection and appropriating funds, therefore would transform the BFP into a modern and world-class institution. In September of last year, President Rodrigo Duterte inked into law the Republic Act 11589, which allows firefighters to carry firearms. In sports, Jason Tatum erupted for 54 points as the Boston Celtics defeated the Brooklyn Nets 123-117 on Sunday. Tatum's virtuoso performance means the 24-year-old has now tied Celtics legend Larry Bird's franchise record of 4 career 50-point performances. The victory was the Celtics' 14th win in the last 16 outings and leaves them in 5th place in the NBA Eastern Conference standing with 39 wins and 27 losses. Tatum's displays stemmed a Brooklyn side who welcomed both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving to same starting lineup for only the 4th time this season. Durant finished with 37 points for the Nets, while former Celtics player Irving added 19. And in business, consumers have to brace for a hefty hike in the prices of petroleum products, which takes effect on Tuesday. In a separate advisories, Caltex, Clean Fuel, Jetty, Petrogas, Sea Oil, and Shell said they will increase gasoline prices by 3.60 pesos per liter and 5.85 pesos per liter on diesel. Caltex, Sea Oil, and Shell will also hike kerosene prices by 4.10 pesos per liter, local oil prices have been increasing for the past 10 weeks. The latest drivers for this week's soaring oil prices in the world market included discussions to ban Russian crude oil in the United States and Europe, as well as the delays in talks of reviving the nuclear deal with Iran. Earlier, the Department of Energy projected that local oil prices are expected to jump to 68.70 pesos per liter for diesel and 78.33 pesos per liter for gasoline once Dubai crude breached the $120 a barrel level. That wraps up the stories tonight. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, Araneta City, the Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hino Motors, Security Bank, Empire East Land Holdings Incorporated, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of the Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Miguel Pautagon, and you're watching Tribune News on Kyiv. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good night, and God bless us all.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Oh, vaccination, isolation. Gotta keep up with my nutrition. Gotta maintain my body condition. Then I can take my vaccination. What do I choose? What do I take? As long as it is not a fake. AstraZeneca, Moderna, BioNTech, even Sinovac, okay na. Babakuna ka ba? 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 Vaccination for the nation, no more isolation. With vaccination, babakuna ka ba? 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 Paturok, paturok, paturok.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Magandang araw mga katribo! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelevelo, Atty. Lia Badillo Crisostomo, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chert Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas na ang mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Simulan natin ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments ng aming programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings, mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga at magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na!
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its Viber community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tercito are available on our community Viber.